Have you ever walked away from a meeting, a pitch, a project thinking, did I just fail? What if you didn't fail? What if your latest occurrence that you thought was a failure at work was actually something else? What if it was actually growth? Hello there. Welcome back to Transformation Station, the podcast where resilient leaders rise. So let's be honest. Let's be honest today, because we have all experienced failure at work. But what if that failure you're still carrying isn't failure at all? What if that occurrence that did not meet the mark was actually proof of growth, proof of risk, proof of courage, proof that leadership is in motion? Well, today here we are going to be talking about 12 signs that what felt like failure, what looked like failure, was actually forward movement. We're going to look at a reflection prompt that will move us from shame to strategy. Plug in, plug up, invite a fellow leader to listen with you right now. Let's begin. So as we look at our 12 signs that failure at work actually is not failure, we'll start with number 1. How do you know that failure at work is not failure? Number 1, you learn something new. It is true. Every mistake has the ability to teach you something your comfort zone never could. I'm going to say that one more time. Every mistake has the ability to teach you something that your comfort zone never could. You learned something new. It may not have worked, but you walked away with fresh insight. Maybe you learned how not to approach a process, what communication gaps exist on your team, or how people respond under pressure. Make it personal. Maybe you learned that you must listen before you always speak. There's a phrase, a quote that says, seek to understand before you seek to be understood. And sometimes what appears to be a failure could actually be a lesson to remind us of something that being in our comfort zone could not teach us. So remember, failure that grows awareness isn't failure. It's actually education. What education could you be receiving right now from what appears to be a failed situation? Number 2, sometimes when you experience failure at work, you end up asking better questions. You see, failure creates curiosity. When there is a failed occurrence, you begin to wonder. You begin to reflect on several things like, what went wrong? What is it that I missed? What didn't I see? How could we do things differently? Or how could we have done things differently? Failure creates curiosity because you start thinking more deeply. You start thinking more strategically. That shift from assumption to inquiry is the foundation of wise leadership. So real talk here. Better questions create better systems. Better systems build better results. So if you want to see better results, when there appears to be a failed occurrence, ask better questions. Number 3, you took a risk. Playing it safe doesn't grow capacity. Playing it safe does not grow capacity. So you took a risk. It didn't work this time. What actually happened was you showed courage. You were courageous by taking that risk. Let's be clear. You were bold. You tried something outside of the norm, and that's what leaders do. Not every risk will pay off right now, but every risk itself is a leadership muscle. Every rep, every occurrence, every try matters. So take a moment of reflection right now and ask, are you judging your growth by safety, or by courage? Number 4, you clarified what doesn't work. That's right. Knowing what to stop doing is just as valuable as knowing what to pursue. Failure, it simplifies what is complex. You now know what to cut. You know what to avoid. You know what to redesign. And knowing what to stop doing is powerful. It is an elimination that helps to create focus, that gives clarity. So the leadership lens to reflect on right here is sometimes success starts by removing what drains effectiveness. So as you look at the latest occurrence of what appears to be failure for yourself personally and or what appears to be failure corporately for your team, ask, what is it that is not working that we need to focus in on to remove so that we can stop the drainage of our effectiveness? Failing fast equals learning fast. Failure equals learning. Number 5, you become more adaptable. Adaptable in terms of you learn how to adjust. You learn how to flex. And you are growing stronger under pressure. That's right. You become more adaptable. You don't freeze. You don't quit. You adjust. Maybe you shifted your messaging. Maybe you chose to delegate more. Maybe you simply changed the whole plan. Remember, adaptability, this is a top skill of modern leadership. And failure is its greatest teacher. I'm going to say that again. Adaptability is a top skill of modern leadership. And failure is its greatest teacher. So ask yourself right now, where did I pivot? And what did I discover in the process? That's right. We're almost halfway right now to looking at 12 signs that failure at work is not really failure. And number 6 says, you built resilience. You got up. You moved forward. And that's growth. You built resilience. You survived what you thought would break you. You processed embarrassment. You sat in detention. You kept going. That's not weakness. No. That is mental toughness in motion. So here's your reminder. Resilience isn't always about simply bouncing back quickly. It's about not giving up quietly. Number 7. You received feedback. That's right. You got feedback from what appears to be a failure. Even hard feedback is a gift if it grows your self-awareness. Even the hard to hear kind. You see, feedback, even when it stings, is how leaders refine our edge. It opens the door to self-awareness, which opens the door to better leadership. Think about this leadership shift. I'm not being attacked. I'm being adjusted. What difference would happen in your mindset if you were able to see your current mistake, your current occurrence of not fitting in or not meeting the mark? What if you were able to see it as, I'm not being attacked, by life. I'm not being attacked by my coworkers. I'm not being attacked by this new promotion. I'm not being attacked. I am being adjusted. Leadership shift. Number 8, you strengthened relationships. Yes. When we ask for support, we strengthen the relationships of those around us, of those in our community. When we listen, we strengthen relationships. We are able to grow in connection, not in isolation. This is powerful from a personal perspective, and this is powerful from a corporate perspective. Remember, those you lead, they're watching you, and they watch how you treat yourself. And they model that to understand how they should treat themselves and then how they should treat each other. You want them to see you growing in community, growing in connection, and they will be more prone to choose growth in connection and not isolation. Failure often forces vulnerability. Maybe you asked for help. Maybe you opened up, and that moment created more trust than any success story ever could. So think about this. Real connection is born in humility, not perfection. Number 9, you stayed true to your values. You chose integrity even when the outcome did not match your effort. You stayed true to your values. You made the hard call, the ethical one. You chose honesty over optics. That choice may have cost you and your team something. Maybe visibility or short-term success, but you did not betray your values. You did not betray what you knew and believed to be true. I had a former boss who she would use this phrase, call your own tilt. And call your own tilt meant whenever there is something that happens, she would always say, don't lie to me. Tell me the truth. Because if you tell me the truth, we can move forward. But if you lie to me, we're going to be stuck or maybe even move backwards. Yes, maybe it didn't work out. But this is an opportunity for you to stand firm. Hold up what you believe to be true. Stay true to your values and make sure you walk with integrity. So this failed occurrence, it's not failure. This is integrity in action. Number 10. Yes, it may look like a failed occurrence, a failed situation, but through it, you inspired others. By showing humility, by being able to acknowledge that, yes, it did not work out, you're showing humility. And those around you will see what resilient leadership looks like in real time. When you fail publicly and you handle it with transparency, you handle it with ownership, you handle it with growth, someone else around you learns how to fall with grace. You're modeling a new leadership culture. So, leadership check right here. What is my failure teaching my team about how we lead through adversity? This is a powerful question that you want to stop and you want to focus on so that in the moment where there is a failed occurrence, you don't have to think twice. You just move forward with leading through adversity. You are an inspiration. Number 11, you're still moving forward. Even though the failed occurrence may have taken place, you're still moving forward. Remember, momentum is momentum, even if it looks messy. And if you're listening to this episode, guess what? That means you're still showing up, and that matters. Momentum doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be present. How you show up also matters. Showing up, believing, using words that show, using your actions, your body language that shows we can still move forward makes a difference. Again, the momentum doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be present. Your team has to see you being there and still using words and manifesting hope. Remember, hope stands for have only positive expectations. Be present in the midst of what appears to be a failed occurrence. Use this affirmation with your team. I'm not stuck. I'm evolving. We're not stuck. We're evolving. And number 12. 12 signs that the failure at work is not failure. You gain confidence. Confidence isn't built by getting it right. It's built by overcoming what went wrong. Gaining confidence, not the loud kind, the deep kind. Because you faced what didn't work, and now you know you can survive this. This is not failure. This is foundational confidence. Leadership growth check. Confidence is built through struggle. Confidence is built through struggle. And when confidence is built through struggle, it lasts longer than confidence that is built on praise. I want you to think about that. Confidence built through struggle lasts longer than confidence built on praise. Let me tell you a story about a young leader. John Maxwell once mentored this young leader, and they were tasked with leading a project team. The outcome, a complete miss, a missed deadline, lost morale, and low engagement. When asked what went wrong, the leader said, I guess I wasn't ready. But instead of being dismissed, John Maxwell said, you weren't ready. You were early. Now, let me tell you a story about a young leader John Maxwell once mentored. You know, I love John Maxwell. The team was tasked with leading a project, and the outcome, a complete missed deadline, lost morale, low engagement. When asked what went wrong, the leader said, I guess I wasn't ready. But instead of being dismissed, John said to him, you weren't wrong, you were early, and now you're ready for the lesson. That leader went on to lead a multi-million-dollar initiative with greater clarity, humility, and strength, all because he failed first. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. John Maxwell reminds us of that. So here's what I want you to do this week. Journal prompt. Get a piece of paper, a notepad, whatever note-taking device you use. Write this down. What's one failure I've been avoiding that might actually be a sign that I was growing? What's one failure I've been avoiding that might actually be a sign that I am growing? Go ahead and write that down, reflect on it, answer it, and then tag me on social or DM me your answer. Let's shift the culture from shame to learning. Revisit one moment you've labeled as a failure and look again. Look again. What's the sign of growth that maybe you missed the first time? Because John Wooden says failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be. And if this episode resonated, share it with a fellow leader who's navigating their own not quite ready moments. Because failing doesn't mean you're not ready. Failing doesn't mean you're finished. It means you're becoming. Let's shift the culture together, from shame to strategy, from pressure to progress. And as always, stay grounded, stay growing, and keep on transforming.